All right, today we're going to dive into a book that might just change the way you think about creativity forever. It's Austin Kleon's Steal Like an Artist. Now, if you've ever felt totally paralyzed by that need to be 100% original, well, this one's for you. Let's get into how to unlock the creativity that's already in there. So, let me just start with this question. Do you ever get stuck? Staring at a blank page, just trying to dream up something the world has never, ever seen before. That crushing weight of needing a purely original idea? Well, what if I told you that whole concept is basically a myth? And this right here, this is the core idea of the whole book. The big secret is, nothing is completely original. Every single new idea is just a mashup or a remix of things that have already come before. And realizing this isn't a failure. No way. It's actually the key to how creativity really works.
So let's really dig into this myth of originality. We have this image, right? The lone genius, struck by a bolt of lightning from the heavens with a brand new idea. But Kleon says, look, that's just not reality. The truth is, we're all part of this huge creative family tree, standing on the shoulders of everyone who came before us.
So if that's true, how do we build on what came before? Well, Kleon says you have to actively study and even copy ideas from your heroes and your biggest influencers. But here's the key. You're not just trying to imitate what they did. You're trying to get inside their heads to understand how they thought. That's where the real magic happens.
And this, of course, leads us to one of the most famous quotes about creativity, and it's totally central to the book. See, there's a world of difference between just mindlessly copying someone and intelligently stealing from them. So, let's break down what that really means.
Good theft is not plagiarism, not even close. It's about seeing the world through the eyes of your heroes, sure, but then adding your own spin, your own voice to the conversation. It's this active process of studying, of giving credit, of remixing, and ultimately transforming all those influences into something that could only have come from you.
This comparison just makes it crystal clear, right? A bad thief, they just rip off a single source. But a good thief, an artist, they steal from everywhere. They're not just imitating the surface-level stuff. They honor, they study, and they remix all those influences to create something totally new and special.
Okay, so we've busted the myth of originality. We know what good theft is, but how do we actually, do it? Let's get into the practical playbook for how to make this a part of your daily practice.
So here's the simple 3-step playbook. First, you've got to become a collector of ideas. Be on the hunt, constantly, for anything that sparks your curiosity. Second, you have to capture those sparks. Keep a notebook, a swipe file on your computer, whatever works for you. Just record what you find. And then finally, the really fun part, remix. Start combining those ideas you've collected and see what brand new connections you can make. Now, creating something is really only half the battle. If you just hide your work away, you're missing a gigantic piece of the puzzle. The next, absolutely vital step is to get it out there and start connecting with a community. Sharing your work, it's not about ego. It's actually a strategy. It's how you get feedback, how you find your people, how you build momentum. You can't just wait for some lucky break to find you hiding in your room. You have to create the conditions for luck to strike by making your work visible.
So how do you share your stuff effectively? Well, first, make things you genuinely, truly care about. Then, use the power of the internet to find other people who care about those same things. And this one is crucial. Don't be afraid to connect with people who are more talented than you. That is exactly how you learn and grow.
All right, the final piece of this puzzle isn't just about what you do for your projects. It's about building an entire lifestyle that actually supports and sustains your creativity for the long haul.
It's really easy to romanticize that whole starving artist stereotype, but Kleon argues that creativity just doesn't thrive in chaos. It needs a stable foundation. Things like a daily routine, getting your finances in order, getting enough sleep, they don't sound exciting, but they're the bedrock that gives you the freedom and the energy to take real creative risks.
In this world we live in, with constant dings and notifications, your attention is your single most valuable creative asset. You have to be absolutely ruthless in protecting it. And that means getting really, really comfortable saying no, not just to other people, but to your own distractions, so you have the space to say yes to the work that actually matters.
Have you ever heard of productive procrastination? Sometimes the best way to solve a tough creative problem is to just walk away from it. Hobbies and side projects are not a waste of time. They refuel your energy, they recharge your passion, and they often lead to these amazing, unexpected breakthroughs in your main work.
The thing is, you can't create in a vacuum. Your brain needs new inputs to generate new outputs. It's that simple. So you have to get out of your routine. And look, this doesn't mean you have to book an expensive trip around the world. It can be as simple as taking a different route to work, just to shake things up and see something new.
And finally, remember this. Creativity is not a zero-sum game. The creative world is about community, not about competition. So be generous, share what you know, support other people's work, and build a network. The kindness and the goodwill you put out into the world, trust me, it will come back to you in ways you can't even predict.
Because ultimately, it's all a cycle. You started by learning from the people who came before you. So the goal is to do work that's good enough to be stolen by the next generation. Contribute something useful and become part of that incredible creative lineage yourself.
So look, the pressure is off. You don't have to invent the next big thing out of thin air. You just have to start collecting, start remixing, and start sharing. The only real question left is, what are you going to steal today?